Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is September 27th, and yesterday I had my consult for my 10X blood test, and I'm just going to make a real quick video and just review the blood test in general and what I think about it. So let's get into the timeline of events so that you guys can have an idea of how long this process takes. So I got my blood test taken on August 12th. And then about 9 days later, so a little over a week, on August 21st, I got my results. And then from there, it took a little over a month before my phone call with their doctor. So you get your blood results back, and then you got to wait a month for someone to go through and explain everything. I mean, you can see what's bad, what's good, and you can Google whatever you need to Google, but you got to wait a month to actually go through it with a doctor. So real quick, your results, you get your little packet. Just going to show you a little snapshot of mine. I'm not going to get into any details on, my issues. But for a male, I'm not sure why they got a female here, but for a male, they got about 70 different biomarkers. And I'm not sure if they listed all these out on what exactly they test for males versus females, but it's about 70. And you got your thyroid, your vitamins. They checked B12 and D and vitamin D. Lipids, which is basically your cholesterol stuff, your blood panels or whatever, white blood cell count, red blood cell count, stuff like that. Sugar metabolism, you got your standard glucose and your hemoglobin A1C. The main one that your normal doctor doesn't really, at least mine didn't. The main one that a normal blood test wouldn't show would be your fasted insulin. So that's pretty good. I do like that. Got your liver functions, kidney functions. Sorry if the camera's not focusing, guys. And then you also got your hormones, which is your cortisol, insulin-like growth factor, testosterone. And for women, I'm sure they check for your estrogen and stuff like that. Prostate stuff for males. And then you got your miscellaneous labs. Uric acid, magnesium, ferritin, I don't even know what that is, iron and iron saturation, stuff like that. But anyways, you got about 70 total panels that they check for, different markers. And I think overall it's a good blood test as far as a complete blood test. There's probably a lot more things that you can test for. I'm sure they're not checking for like cancer cells and stuff like that. But just to give you a real quick review of what it looks like. So you got your cover page here. Then they get into each one individually, and they got like a little range thing where it shows if it's good or high or low. This is kind of what it looks like. So that's for blood. And it just goes through every one of them. Sugar metabolism and stuff like that. I did want to mention, so for my blood test, I had to go to LabCorp near me. There's plenty of providers out there. Just wanted to make that a note to someone. This is not an at-home, do your own thing, or you don't have to go to your own doctor. Once you pay for it, they schedule with your input. They schedule you for a blood draw, and I had to go to a LabCorp. Pretty simple. Showed up. You got to show up fasted. They said a minimum of 8 hours, which I was fasted for 15 hours when I went, I believe. I was taking the 10X optimized multivitamin. But so with being fasted on the day of the blood draw, I also, 3 days prior, I quit taking the 10X optimized multivitamin because I wanted a good baseline for me. I want to say, well, how is my body normally? And then from there, I can adjust and do my supplements, and then maybe 6 months from now or whatever, take another blood test and see if I have improved. So yeah, so I quit taking the multivitamins just 3 days prior. I was fasted for 15 hours when I took my blood test. And like I said earlier, I had my blood test done on the 12th. So the phone consult, the Zoom call, whatever you want to call it. So they provide you with an MD, an actual doctor, and they go through all of your markers with you, and they explain what they think is going on, and they explain what's bad, what's good, and why is it bad and why is it good. So the actual consult with the doctor was very informative for me. And he didn't go straight to medicine, which, unlike a normal doctor, I mean, at least from my experience, they're going to try to get you on medicine. They want to get you on antidepressants, get you on something for your insulin, or get you on whatever. He didn't recommend any medical as far as a prescription medicine. He recommended a bunch of different supplements. So I do like the fact that they are trying to go the natural route with supplementing versus prescription meds. I mean, I do like that. Nobody wants to be on prescription meds the rest of their life. I mean, some things are inevitable and you got to do what you got to do. I understand that. But for example, testosterone, if you could boost your testosterone by supplementing with a vitamin D and a DHEA, then why not try that first? I do appreciate that, instead of just saying, oh, you got to have hormone replacement therapy, blah, 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 and go spend a bunch more money, whereas you could have just took a supplement and let your body do what it's supposed to do. You know, if your body can produce testosterone, this is just an example, if it can, and you can give it the nutrients that it needs to do that, then let it do it. And that's my opinion, which I thought was a positive. So that was a plus. So let's wrap this video up, guys. The 10X Health Systems blood test. Overall, I feel like it is a good blood test. I did appreciate the consult with the doctor. He was very informative, answered any questions I had. The time it took to get from point A to point B sucked. We'll say that. And they're probably blow with all the social media out there with Grant and Gary Brecka and all this stuff. I'm sure they're probably bogged down pretty good. So the time it took to get from point A to point B sucked. But overall, I feel like it was a good blood test. But there's probably other blood tests out there that's cheaper that give you the same results. So don't feel like you got to spend $600 on theirs. But overall, it was a good experience. So I'm not going to down them on that. So I'm gonna give this test a thumbs up. I like it. I feel like others out there can get the same thing done for cheaper. I do think that's real. But it's not bad for $600. I'm not upset that I did it. So I'm actually happy with the results. I'm happy with the recommendations. I'm going to try it for the next 6 months, and then I'll probably have a follow-up. If you have any questions for me about this, shoot me a message or a comment. I'll be more than happy to try to answer anything that I can. I'm not a doctor, but if you got any questions on the process, procedure, any stuff like that on this blood test, let me know. I'll try to help you out in any way that I can. I appreciate everyone following and watching. Yeah, thanks.